ladies and gentlemen, the session is going to be about carbon black puttings, things into the perspectives. And to invite the speaker on the stage, Mr. Trideep Rai Bhandari. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about the gentleman, Mr. Trideep Raj Bhandari, a law management graduate from the prestigious National Law University, Jodhpur. He left his flourishing career with one of the leading law firms in India to join his family business way back in 2011. Well, he laid the foundation of the ceramics and the chemical division of Synco Industries Limited in the year 2013. Ladies and gentlemen, Synco Industry has significantly expanded its footprints in the paint industry with a wide range of products from grinding beds to different varieties of balls and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the next speaker on the stage, Mr. Trideep Raj Bhandari. एक बार जोरदार तालियां हो जाए. Thank you.
सबसे पहले I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the paint industry. अपनी कृतज्ञता व्यक्त करना बनता है that a company that was known for grinding beads and grinding beads alone has been allowed to set foot in the carbon black and additives market, and that all of you, IPCA leadership and every single paint manufacturer in the country has been very welcoming to us. Now, I'll plunge right away into the presentation so that I do not take much of your time. The carbon black market in India, let us begin with analyzing the volumes of this market. This is a humongous market valuated at INR 125.5 billion in 2024 alone. And this is expected to grow at a cumulative annual growth rate of 4.7% to 190.6 billion in 2033. But this is not essentially attributable to the paint industry. This is a mix of both specialty and rubber blacks. And in specialty blacks, the market share is 7.1%, while rubber blacks hold the majority share in 92.6%. This is a small eye-opening comparison based on research data in 2024-25. You would notice here, you would see here how paints and coatings do not rank very well for a sector in consumption of specialty blacks. While a plastics is consuming 64.5% of our nation's produce in specialty blacks, paint and coating sector only covers 6.4%. This is an open-ended question to the conference here. Why is this happening? Is this happening because we are competing too much? Is it happening because we are too focused on manufacturing economic coatings? Or are we not using specialty blacks that are placed in terms of cost closer to the rubber blacks? It is time to introspect. Between 2019 to 2024, the rubber black and specialty black industry was at a cumulative of अंदाजन 1100 kilotons पे ये पूरी industry focus थी. By 2033, while the growth rate of rubber carbon black is predicted at only a CAGR of 2.5%, the specialty black is expected to show a CAGR of a cumulative of 5% by 2033. And it is also expected to show an enhanced market share, जो कि ज़्यादा significant नहीं है, but from 7.1% to 8.7% by 2033 is still positive news for the industry. हम लोगों को अंदाजन 10 साल हुए हैं कार्बन ब्लैक इंडिया में मार्केट करते हुए. We receive all kinds of inquiries from across sectors, paints, inks, coatings, pigments, etc. But हमसे कार्बन ब्लैक के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ओरिजिन के बारे में कोई सवाल नहीं पूछा जाता. So therefore I thought it appropriate to introduce the prime 3 categories of carbon black differentiated by manufacturing process. Furnace, channel black and surface treated carbon blacks. For paucity of time, I will not be doing conductive or acetylene blacks and lamp blacks. This is the most popular process by which carbon black is produced. आपका सारा N series, N220, 320, 326, 660, etc. and a huge chunk of variety of specialty blacks is manufactured using the furnace black process. Historically, the most popular and the most versatile process. This is a glimpse of the manufacturing process. आप नोटिस करेंगे यहाँ से you have petroleum or coal oil flowing with the burning gas, and as soon as partial combustion takes place, water is quenched into the process, and ahead of that the carbon black is filtered out, later dried, and thereafter pelletized or powdered to serve the commercial market. Certain categories of furnace blacks. Furnace blacks will give you a particle size of 10 to 80 nanometers, therefore indicating the versatility of the process. They will always be basic in nature. Their pH will always be greater than 7, which also makes them not so compatible for surface treatment. And the aggregation, particle size variation, etc. will all be done by variation in the aromaticity of the feedstock oil or by using alkaline salts. However, you cannot achieve the properties of gas blacks or lamp blacks with this process. Coming to the second one. This is what, as an industry, as a progressive industry, we should actually be interested in. आप लोग high-ended, high jetness, high tinting strength के जो blacks ढूंढते हैं, they are mostly gas blacks. Their particle size will vary from 10 to 30 nanometer. They will be acidic in nature, therefore enabling them for later surface treatment and better usage. Their structures will be very loose. We will come to how the structure of a carbon black particle will affect the properties of carbon black, but you will notice that a furnace black will never be able to match the structural integrity and the structural size of a gas black. And the most important, wherever you have pigment requirement with fine particle application, you should not be preferring furnace blacks. You should specifically be asking your your vendor for blacks of gas process origin. This is a glimpse of the gas black production process. आपने furnace black में देखा होगा, it was a single burning and then water quenching process. However, you have the same oil going in, heating gas and air combination, but there are multiple burners and carbon black getting collected at the bottom. As I said, gas blacks, because of their acidic nature, are suitable for surface treatment. And surface treated blacks is something that as an industry we should be more interested in because of the properties that we'll speak of later. You have gas blacks that are subject to oxidation processes of different kind. I cannot go into details because of paucity of time. It could be chemical oxidation, could be plasma treatment, etc. This leads to oxygen containing molecules getting attached to the surface of carbon black, therefore improving its performance in terms of pigment wetting, dispersion, rheology and other factors. Now this is another interesting parameter based on the research data to 2024-25. You would notice that India, for an industry, despite good availability of gas blacks from various origins, you have imported gas blacks available, you have gas blacks of Indian origin available, and yet gas blacks comprise of only 1.6% of the entire gamut of the carbon black market in India. इसको आप रबर और स्पेशलिटी में ब्रेक भी कर लेंगे, even then you will find that more and more furnace black is being used despite gas blacks being available at around the same price. which is mostly because of lack of awareness. This slide was specifically included to make a particular point. जब कार्बन ब्लैक बनता है, it is made in its virgin powder form, which is this. It is later pelletized. या तो आप बीट फॉर्म कार्बन ब्लैक खरीद रहे हैं या आप पाउडर फॉर्म कार्बन ब्लैक खरीद रहे हैं, बट आप में से 99% इसके बारे में इंक्वायरी भी नहीं कर रहे हैं. This is the soot that comes out of the carbon black plant directly, which is later pelletized into bead form and then again ground into powder form for proposing bead form or powder form as commercial products to you. Iski density might vary a little because this is pelletized and then ground. Density might vary a little, but this is a cheaper product at a lesser price compared to this powder. And if you have good grinding facilities at your end, अगर आप steel balls use कर रहे हैं, अगर आप zirconium beads dyno machines use कर रहे हैं, then you can get this product at a price which is cheaper than this in any grade whatsoever and benefit. These are certain obvious differences between powder form and bead form. Your powder is, because it is pre-ground in a carbon black plant, it is obviously easier to disperse. When you are using powder, it is more dusty for your workforce and powder is more expensive. ये expensive वाला exception you can deal if you go back to the soot that is coming out directly from the carbon black plant and not being pelletized and then reground. Coming to the factors that decide the performance of carbon black, this is an electron microscope image of a carbon black, typical carbon black molecule. The particle size, the structure and the surface treated particles that adhere to the structure because of surface treatment. This is how the structure of a carbon black molecule will affect the performance. I would want you to remember that the structural control in a gas black carbon black was much better and was not even possible to be made with a furnace black process. So if you have a lower structure, your viscosity is low, your tinting strength is high, your dispersibility is difficult, but this is a step that you can deal with. Your gloss is high and the conductivity is low. So another reason why a gas black structure is better than a furnace black structure. This is how the particle size would affect your carbon black. Blackness is high with lower size, tint strength is high, conductivity is high, viscosity is high, dispersibility is again difficult, but can be dealt with appropriate machines. When we talk about how surface treatment would affect your carbon black properties in a given system, this is the primary characteristic that it changes. आप अपने कार्बन ब्लैक को हाइड्रोफिलिक या हाइड्रोफोबिक करेंगे, वो आपके एडिटिव्स, डिस्पर्जन एजेंट आदि के प्रति अपने बिहेवियर को बदलेगा. वो बदलेगा, उसका डिस्पर्जन या तो बेटर होगा या वर्सन होगा. If you do it appropriately, then you are looking at better dispersibility. You are looking at better dispersibility, therefore more bluish undertone to your product, because the finer the particle size, the more bluish the undertone would get. Better dispersibility, controlled particle size would obviously lead to better viscosity, blackness and tint strength, and would affect rheology in a given ways, in many other given ways. This is why I am standing here, this is why this presentation. We've been representing Black Horse Carbon Black for the past better part of a decade. This is a company that was The plant was founded in 2001 and their focus on specialty black has been there since 2008. Our association with Black Horse Carbon Black has been there since 2018. Since then, this joint stock company was made for the purposes of exporting their specialty blacks. One thing that I wanted to specifically insist during this conference is we have been trying to create an exception by replicating your lab requirements, your lab standards at our manufacturing plant's lab. We have done this for a couple of sizable customers where we pick your test ingredients, your testing process, and we duplicate it at our plant so that your requirement of testing a pre-shipment sample disappears and our consistent supply remains. Our manufacturing capacity is 3,000 tons per annum of gas black, 14,000 tons per annum of furnace black, and another 1,000 tons per annum in surface treated carbon black. So you're looking at a sizable amount of technology input here. The hallmark of any carbon black manufacturer lies with the amount of surface treated carbon black, with the number of surface treated carbon blacks that manufacturer can throw in the market for varied applications. You would see that these gas blacks vary across applications including automotive coatings, inks, inkjet inks, etc. So do these surface treated carbon blacks, and obviously we manufacture a lot of furnace blacks. This is an idea of the kind of exports we've been able to achieve since 2008 in a short span of time. Without a consistent product quality, this is something that is not a possibility. A glimpse of the packing. Now, I would come to certain specific applications and the popular grades that we have been stocking in India and have been successfully commercially supplying. This is specifically these two grades, 6400B and BH50B, are specifically being marketed by us in India for high concentration pigment pastes. These grades in water-based pigment pastes can go up to a concentration of 50-55%. We have been stocking them for bulk customers. We have been enabling import of these grades, and these are extremely successful. This is another very critical area of application where we've been stocking carbon black grades. You would notice the surface area, the particle size and the surface area of these grades and how they match the very best that is available in the industry for high-end wood coatings, for automotive refinish coatings, for OEM automotive coatings, etc. This is a set of the medium range grades that we would like to proposition, especially to people who are obsessed with the rubber grades in the carbon black market. These grades are not as expensive as you would perceive them to be, but have very good applications in your industrial paints, in your wood coatings, etc. You would notice that very good particle size, extremely good surface area, and not so expensive for products. This is a range of the grades that we've been supplying for powder coatings very, very successfully. Consistent stocks are available, and there is absolutely nil failure rate insofar as sample testing or in commercial supplies are concerned. If there are any ink folks here, now coming to the final post, what we as a company, the Ceramics and Chemicals division of Synco Industries has to offer. We do a comprehensive range of grinding media, जिसके लिए मैंने आपको पिछली 2 बार बोर किया था. We have a comprehensive range of dispersion agents, specialty blacks as discussed, and zeolite degassing powders, जिसको आप moisture scavengers भी बोलते हैं. So we'll quickly go through them one by one. Yttria stabilized zirconia beads, zirconium silicate, zirconia toughened alumina balls, and light density zirconia beads. This is a brief of our degassing or moisture scavenger powders that are zeolite based and specifically meant for your epoxy coatings and your high metallic paints. The dispersion agents that we've been doing, these dispersion agents are coming from the same company जिसका हम लोग black कर रहे हैं, and we have consistent stocks. I will just let you see this briefly. This was a complaint that we had for a company for a long time कि आप देश के एक कॉर्नर में जोधपुर में बैठ के क्यों काम कर रहे हैं. So we've been able to, आप लोगों के आशीर्वाद से we've been able to create a setup at Bhandari for supply to southern market, to Bombay and Maharashtra and the southern market for better costing and availability of material to our customers. Thank you.
Can we have the questions in the house, please? Anybody would love to ask a question? You can raise your hands, we can give the mic to you right there. Please.
Trideep, an excellent presentation. Thank you very much for your enlightening presentation. One small question. Based on your experience in this thing with carbon black, how different are these blacks with what is available in the country? And how competitive are these carbon blacks vis-a-vis the blacks that is available in our country?
Sir, I would like to give a brief response to the query. These blacks are, for one, cost competitive. Second, there is excellent batch-to-batch consistency. And third, they are not inferior or in fact are better than what are the qualities that are already available in the country. Thank you. All properties, you would see the particle size, the surface area, the surface treated carbon blacks. They match whatever is available in the country in a very, very fine manner.
Trideep, first of all, thank you for the quick presentation. You really raised people are very hungry. A quick question. You are branded maybe into the grinding media industry. You know, Synco is known more for the grinding media part. Now coming into carbon black, which you said is a decade-old business for you. So is it difficult to create an impression in the mind of customers? Because I find it difficult sometimes if I'm known for a specific product, going to a new product line, that impression does not come to the customer's mind very easy. So do you find the same set of problems or challenges at your end कि यार Trideep जी है तो grinding media की बात करेंगे अचानक carbon black people are taken by surprise. So what is your say on this?
Sir, my say is very simple. अगर त्रिदीप जी grinding media में 100% ईमानदारी से काम कर रहे हैं तो त्रिदीप जी कुछ भी बेचेंगे वो बिकेगा.
Very well said.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Mr. Trideep Raj Bhandari. Okay, we have one more question right there. A quick question. Can we hand over the mic, please?
Chick. Hello. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. I am Vicky from Resins and Plastics. So, a very simple question, in your first slide, you had given the market share that almost 65% is the consumption is in plastic segment.
Yeah, sir.
And rest is very less. So just from my understanding, from what I understand is most of carbon black consumption or the highest percentage would be in rubber and tire, isn't it? Or this is specialty?
Sir, this was specialty blacks.
Specialty
रबर टायर
carbon
में तो आप स्पेशलिटी ब्लैक एनीवेज रूल आउट कर देते हैं, बहुत मिनिस्क्यूल कंजम्पशन रह जाता है.
अच्छा.
स्पेशलिटी ब्लैक का ब्रेकअप था. एंड इफ यू रियली वांट टू गेट इनटू दिस, मैं आपको आई कैन शेयर द रिसर्च रिपोर्ट्स दैट आई यूज्ड फॉर मेकिंग दिस.
हाँ, okay. Just for my interest, I was asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, because we've given such a fabulous presentation. I would like to invite Mr. Sagar Goyal, to please come forward to felicitate the gentlemen on the stage.